This is Tarron with Twist Mesquite Performance Horses. We are on a mission to create a world-class 2-year-old program that specializes in the rein cow horse. This week we're doing a review with Copper. This is his first week in our program. This horse came to us having been halter broke. He's had a lot of groundwork done. Pretty confident about saddling. And so we've just kind of been going back, making sure that he knows all the things that we need him to know, as you know, on the ground, just putting us in a understanding that he's in a pretty good frame of mind in order for us to put a ride on him, put a first ride on him, and then continue on, and that he's in a good respectful state of mind in reference to us, that we've gained his trust and his respect, and that he's paying attention to what we're needing him to do to keep us safe, and then to also be able to keep him in a safe, to be able to keep him safe as well. So with him, we did the round pin work. Didn't take very long, didn't take much there, just to get him facing up, get him turning into me, and then get to where I could walk up to him and just catch him. Since the first day, been able to just go back in there and catch him. Like I said, he was already halter broke, so but he was halter broke well, and he's pretty confident about us, pretty curious as well, just like Salty, the other colt, pretty curious and wants to see what you're about. So we've done quite a bit of desensitizing with him, at least getting started with these exercises. If he goes and moves off, that's all right. He's not sure what we're wanting him to do right here. Yesterday I saddled him. He did great. Wasn't too concerned about that saddle. Started, we'll use a tarp in the later bit of our groundwork and our desensitizing, and he was pretty good about that. Say he's kind of been a little concerned about his head a little bit, have a little bit of worry there, but not too much. And we'll work on some of that stuff before we go and put a first ride on him. I want to be able to come up here and have him stand still. I don't want to be chasing him around. I want him to know he can stand still right here. Been kind of rainy and cold today, so they're kind of feeling it a little bit. Need him to stand still. Definitely going to go and get his feet moving here in a second. There. So we'll lunge him, and we'll kind of teach him two different ways of changing direction and going that other way. So I want to be able to look at that hip, have him give that hip, then I can send him the other direction. I want to be able to do it on both sides. I like that he's very quick about giving me two eyes. He's a pretty smart colt. He's pretty quick about learning what we're wanting him to do. He's willing. He's been a good colt to work so far. We'll get him wormed today as well. We wormed the Salty here after we got done working him. So these colts will shed off a little bit of that hair, getting a little bit more of a full belly on them. There. I need to get, he's kind of a little bit reactive this morning or this afternoon. We'll just kind of put his feet to work and get him something to think about. So far, I like how this colt travels. I like how he uses his hind end, and he'll stop and get around a lot like that buckskin horse we have in training. They're bred similar. I like how they, they're going to have a little bit of size to them, but it hasn't hindered their athletic ability. See right there, he shut that hind end down. I like how he used his hind end there. Just has a really good look about him. I can imagine him sitting on a cow, working a cow, stopping and coming back through there. Let him think about all this for a minute, get his mind back with me. Started teaching this horse. Now I don't know for certain this horse has had any flexing done with him, but he's been light, and so we've been just building on that. He acts like he has had it done with him, but we've been just building on it. I want to get this really good on the ground before we go and put that first ride on him, to where I have a lot of lateral flexion on them. They're really soft in my hands for when we go and put that first ride, and we can work on our one rein stop. We can be able to flex him. Those two things are two of the things I work on first when I put a ride on him. I'm working with his flag a little bit. This flag and plastic bag is part of what we do. We'll desensitize with it as well. certainly feels pretty good this morning, today. I'll let him kind of rest here. Let him kind of collect his thoughts. It's the importance of consistency working these horses, because some days you come out and maybe the weather's changed, the feed they've been getting finally hit them or whatever, and they feel pretty good. Maybe they're a bit more reactive, and so when you work them consistently, you can work those horses at those times, especially these colts. We can help them work through if they're being kind of reactive, or the wind's blowing, or it's gotten cold, or whatever. We can kind of help that horse and work that horse through that situation, so that horse still understands that even if it is cold, he still has to act well. If it's windy, he's still got to do what we're asking. She's kind of snorting a little bit at this flag, but he's keeping his feet still, so that's good. He's been good about his feet. We've kind of picked his feet up with the lead rope. He's been pretty good about that. Like I said, we saddled him yesterday. We'll saddle him here again in a second. We're gonna kind of move him around, get changing some directions on him, have him use a little bit more of that energy. Not drop my lead rope. I like that he's relaxing, starting to calm down a little bit. I want to kind of use this pad and kind of do like we do with our lead rope or stick and string or anything. Use it as another way of desensitizing him. Make sure he's good with it. Make sure he's good with it on both sides. I want to be aware of where his head is. I do want his head tipped towards me a little bit when I'm working on saddling him up, or even with this saddle pad. I want to be able to, I don't want to let him have that head tipped around there and spook or something like that and be able to be tempted to kick me or anything like that. So I want to have his head tipped towards me a little bit. Been a couple sticker patches around these pins, so I want to make sure to check all that out. Make sure he doesn't have a grass burr or sticker. Now that we got these colts a lot quieter, we'll get to next week. We'll be able to start rinsing them some and start brushing them down and be able to do some of that good stuff with them. You know, we really like the inclusivity of our program, the care, training, these videos. I like when, you know, especially so specifically with our care and training, I really like that we can go in here and we can get around these horses. We're around these horses when we feed them. We're around these horses when we wash them and bathe them. We're around these horses when we clean stalls. You know, we feed them twice a day, and so we're out here checking waters and feeding twice a day, so these horses get to be around us. You know, so when they see me, they're not necessarily just going to get worked. And when they're around people, they're not necessarily going to get worked. We may be going to wash them. We may be going to move them around to another pen, turning them out. We may be in there to feed them, maybe in there to water them, whatever. And I really like that we can go in there and, you know, spend time around these colts when it's not just us in here training on them. I think it helps them calm down and quiet down where they're not concerned about us. Like I said, I saddled this colt yesterday. He didn't buck, but I always just want to be, until I know that they're pretty comfortable with them. And even if I'm always just watching it, especially on these colts, you know, I want to be able to help these colts when I saddle them. There's some guys that have different methods about it. For me, I want to be able to saddle that colt, and, you know, I might let him buck that first day, let him kind of figure it out, and let him wear that saddle. But after that, I don't want to let him buck. I'm gonna help him work through that. And you know, so if he'd go to go to buck or go to do something silly, I'd move his feet, disengage his hindquarters, something. Help him realize that he doesn't have to buck. He doesn't have to worry about that saddle. We can de-escalate the situation and calm him back down. This colt's doing pretty good today. I want to get to where by the end of the session today, I want to get to where he's more relaxed. He's a lot calmer. He's a little bit reactive today, whether it's the weather or it's kind of colder today, whether it's the camera, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. But I want to, every time I start these horses, I want to start it quiet and I want to end it quiet. I want them to be in a good frame of mind when I end in the session. And so even like this right here, letting him kind of relax, calm down. He's still kind of anxious about some stuff, but we just got to let him, kind of work him through it, help him work through it. But like I said, I want to end him. We may not get to everything we were wanting to get to today, but quitting him in a good frame of mind is more important than maybe advancing him. Because if he's not in a good frame of mind and we try to add some new exercises in, they're probably not going to be done very well, or he may not remember them. We have been started teaching him some backing up exercises, which he's done really well. A little more relaxed here, I like that. I like that he's starting to relax a little bit. He's still staying soft on this lead rope. I pick up a little bit and he comes with it. At this point, if he starts leaning on it or not coming through, I'm gonna start bumping on that. I want to bump on it. Once he gives to it, I'll release and just keep picking up until he comes all the way around. There. There. That was a lot better. There. Just like with Salty deal we're working on, we've about turn and draw, so draw into me, come up here to me. I'll kind of hold this halter just in case the horse starts anticipating it a little quicker. I like that he's starting to relax. I think with him, need to give him time to realize what we're working on. All these colts, both these colts and buckskin colts the same way. They really want to please. They really want to. They're very curious type horses, and they remember pretty well what you're wanting to do with them. Learn pretty quick. It'd be easy to take this type of horse and be too quick with him. Where, see right here, I'm going to take this, he's anticipating it. And so I'm going to kind of break it apart. Just kind of slow it down a little bit. I would say so far, the only thing he's been kind of concerned about has been this flag a little bit, and the tarp he was kind of concerned about it a little bit, but not bad. And so I definitely want to make sure that, you know, I get it to where he's pretty comfortable with these. You know, all of this stuff we do is just helping create a horse that is confident, got a pretty good control on him, you know, pretty good handle on him, before we go and just preparing these colts for when we go and put those first rides on him, when we're up and up around him, up on top of him. You know, it's just exposing them to a lot of things, helping getting these colts in a good frame of mind where they're thinking about what's going on rather than reacting. And so, like I said, I didn't really like how, well, I say I wanted to get to where he's thinking a lot more, he's a lot more relaxed, and he's starting to get there. Because I've already seen, first few days of working this horse, I've already seen how quiet and calm he can be doing these exercises, so I know that that's how good he can be, and so I want to get back to that standard. You know, that's his new standard of being quiet and calm and relaxed. You know, that's a standard that, okay, so it's like I know that horse can get to that level. He's gotten to that level, and so now that's the new standard. Like, we want that horse to get back to that point and be back at that point or better every time I work him. And so we've been working on some backing exercises as well. Just getting that where I have better control of him, where I can move him any direction I need to. I can get him out of my space. I can move him sideways. I can get control over his hip, his front end. I can be able to take him backwards just with very, very light pressure, and he'll move off that pressure and go back. I can move his hip. And send him backwards that way. Started teaching this horse to back up off that halter pressure. I can get a few steps backwards. There. I can move his hip. And go back with him this way. There. There, good. So now that I've got this horse saddled, I want to make sure that I'm making plenty of noise with this saddle. I want to, you know, pretty much every time I go and desensitize him, I flex him, I want to make noise with this saddle. See, I want him to be comfortable here. I want him to not move his feet, as I'm not asking him to. There, stopped his feet. There. soon I'll start, being able to, I'll get my weight in the stirrups. Make sure that I can rub him down this back leg, rub him up underneath, move this back cinch. I'm gonna be able to slap these stirrups where he's not concerned about it. I want to be able to make noise on that offside. All of these things, make sure that he's good with me getting on him. See, right now he's still kind of concerned about it. He's kind of weary, but we'll just continue building on it, making sure he's good before we go and get on him. So with him, this is a pretty good review of what we've been working on so far this week. We'll continue to work with him and continue to build, and I don't think he's very far from putting that first ride on him. We just want to make sure that everything's good, that he's respectful, he's in a good frame of mind, so that I stay safe and that he stays safe, that we have a good first ride, as that first ride builds and is a foundation for all the next ones going forward. So that's our review with Copper for this week. We just wanted to show kind of where he was at, and overall we're pleased with him and excited to see how he goes from here. We'll catch up with you on the